The oldest living residents of New York are 500-year-old trees that stood when Columbus first reached America. Their trunks bear the scars of centuries, and their rings hold stories we're only beginning to understand. At Tohoanok Falls, water drops into a gorge carved by ancient glaciers, exposing rock layers that have taken shape over millions of years. But the mysteries don't end here. From Canandaigua's historic district, where America's first forest conservation laws were conceived, to Ithaca Falls' powerful cascade that creates a microclimate supporting rare species. These overlooked places tell New York's untold story. Stay with us, because we're about to uncover New York's hidden treasures. Places so extraordinary, you'll wonder how they've stayed in the shadows for so long. Located on the border between the state of New York and the Canadian province of Ontario is the iconic Niagara Falls, the waterfalls split between two countries. On the New York side, it is defined by the powerful American Falls and the smaller Bridal Veil Falls, two mighty cascades separated by Luna Island. The name Niagara originates from the indigenous word Ongwiahra, referring to the strait connecting Lake Erie to Lake Ontario. In the 19th century, famous engineers Nikola Tesla and George Westinghouse used the power of the falls to create one of the first major hydroelectric plants. This key innovation transformed the region into an early centre of electricity production, with the force of the falls still helping generate power today. Another notable event happened in the 1960s, during which engineers temporarily stopped the flow of the American Falls to study erosion and rock stability, allowing tourists to walk across the dry riverbed. The Adirondack Mountains form a massive expanse of peaks, forests and waterways. Unlike a national park, the Adirondack Park contains both public and private land. Historically, the area was initially avoided by early settlers who saw it as too remote and wild, though it eventually became a place where loggers, miners and trappers made a living. In the late 1800s, the region became a refuge for those seeking clean air, believed to cure ailments like tuberculosis. Later in the 20th century, ice harvesters would cut blocks from frozen lakes, shipping them to cities for refrigeration. Eventually, the mountains were recognised as a protected region, with laws established to preserve the land from overdevelopment and remain forever wild. Beyond the mountains is the Ausable Chasm, dubbed the Grand Canyon of the Adirondacks, as it features steep sandstone walls carved by glacial meltwater. Formed by Ice Age floods and continues to be shaped by water, it is one of the oldest natural attractions with organised tours. Guided tours began in 1870, with visitors rappelling into the gorge or floating through its rapids on wooden rafts. However, glacial potholes, caves, and rushing waterfalls make the area unpredictable, as parts of the chasm can fill quickly after heavy rain and become dangerous. Still located within the Adirondack Mountains is Lake Placid Village, known for winter sports, alpine terrain, and its connection to Olympic history. It is near its namesake lake, a body of water once called Elk Lake, before being renamed for its calm surface. The area is best known for hosting the Winter Olympics twice, first in 1932 and again in 1980. In fact, the latter event became legendary for an underdog hockey victory, often called the Miracle on Ice, which unfolded in the local arena. Despite being named after Lake Placid, the village actually sits beside a different body of water called Mirror Lake. Even though it has a quiet appearance, Mirror Lake has hosted athletes from around the world. In summer, its surface reflects the surrounding peaks, as triathlons and open water swims take over. In winter, it freezes solid enough to support sledding, skating, and even dog sled rides. Locals maintain a long skating loop across the ice, and curling matches are sometimes held in the open. Unfortunately, its water quality has been a concern in recent years, leading to studies on road salt and runoff, and actions to preserve the lake's health. Just outside the village is Whiteface Mountain, one of the tallest peaks in the region, and includes a ski area that was built to handle Olympic events. The mountain features long, steep trails and an access road that allows vehicles to reach close to the summit. There is also an elevator built inside the mountain, carved into solid rock. The Thousand Islands are known for their scattered landforms across a wide stretch of the St. Lawrence River. Its sheer number of islands varies in size from large inhabited spaces to tiny rocks just big enough for a single tree. In fact, to be counted as an island, each one must remain above water year-round and support at least one living tree. Bolt Castle, the most recognisable landmark, was constructed by hotel magnate George Bolt as a tribute to his wife. Work halted abruptly after her death in 1904, leaving the mansion unfinished for decades. The incomplete structure sat abandoned for decades, exposed to the elements and vandalism, until restoration finally began, making it now open to visitors. The castle's power plant, shaped like a miniature medieval fortress, still stands on a nearby islet. Trumansburg Village is known for its small size, strong local identity, and connection to natural landmarks. It became a hub for milling and agriculture, later connected by a railroad that spurred growth. The village got its name from Abner Truman, one of the first settlers in the area, who operated a sawmill and gave the growing settlement its direction. Many of the buildings along the main street have stood for over a century, housing shops, cafes, and small venues. Just beyond the village limits is Toranok Falls State Park, which centres on a waterfall taller than Niagara, with a single vertical drop surrounded by shale cliffs. Toranok Creek carved a long gorge through layers of shale and sandstone, creating steep cliffs on both sides. Visitors can reach the base of the falls by a flat trail that follows the creek bed. The park also includes hiking trails above the gorge, with visitors being able to look straight across or down into the canyon from the rim. After storms, the water flow can increase suddenly, making the falls louder and more forceful. On rare occasions, high winds have blown the water sideways or even upward. The Catskill Mountains are known for their forested ridges and a long history tied to art, recreation, and retreat. The range is part of a larger plateau shaped by erosion, not formed by tectonic collision, like many other mountain systems. Writers like Washington Irving set folklore here, including the tale of Rip Van Winkle, a man who fell asleep in the mountains and woke up years later. The mountains gained fame as a retreat for urban populations, with grand hotels like the Catskill Mountain House drawing elites. By the 20th century, the area became a hub for summer resorts, particularly those catering to Jewish families, fostering comedians and musicians who shaped mid-century entertainment. Carterskill Falls, one of the tallest waterfalls in the region, is a two-tiered waterfall with a long history of visitors, artists, and accidents. In fact, the falls were featured in some of the earliest American landscape paintings. Most notably, the Hudson River School painters immortalised the landscape in the 1800s, with the waterfall becoming a recurring subject. Access to Carterskill Falls used to be difficult and dangerous as people climbed steep, unmarked paths while the rocks were wet or icy. Improved trails and safety measures have been added, including steps and fences, but risks remain. Letchworth State Park, often dubbed the Grand Canyon of the East, centres on the Genesee River, which carves a deep gorge through layered rock. The park's name honours William Pryor Letchworth, a businessman who purchased the land to halt industrial exploitation and later donated it for public use. The Genesee River flows north, which is unusual since most rivers in the region run south. This river begins in higher terrain and drops sharply through the park, forming the upper, middle, and lower falls. The Middle Falls, the largest, was once a proposed hydroelectric site before preservation efforts prevailed. Canandaigua is known for its connection to the Finger Lakes, especially Canandaigua Lake, which shapes both its landscape and identity. The lake is long and narrow, as it provides drinking water to the surrounding area and is regularly tested and protected. Meanwhile, the city sits at the northern tip of the lake, serving as a central point for government, trade, and tourism in the region. The name comes from a word in the Seneca language that is often translated as the chosen spot or the chosen town. The Seneca people lived in the area long before European settlers arrived, and the Treaty of Canandaigua, negotiated between indigenous nations and federal representatives, was signed here. Hector Falls, a segmented cascade along a major river, is known for their accessibility as they are visible from a roadside pull-off. Historically, the area supported mills powered by the fall's flow, though no structures remain. The river's geology here includes layers of shale and sandstone, which erode unevenly, creating the fall's terraced appearance. A hydroelectric plant built upstream in the early 20th century altered water flow, which still sparks controversies today. As one of the oldest continuously chartered cities in North America, the city of Albany is recognised as a state capital, with government buildings dominating its core. Albany began as a fur trading post, with European settlers building trading relationships with local indigenous nations. When control shifted from Dutch to English, it remained an important point for river transport and military strategy. The city's strategic position along a major river made it a trade hub, amplified by the completion of a canal linking the Atlantic to the Midwest. Interestingly, it is known for an odd variety of subjects, such as holding a patent for perforated toilet paper, filed by a local inventor in the 19th century, and reported UFO sightings in the late 20th century. Long Island stretches eastward with a mix of beaches, bays, and woodlands. It includes a mix of suburban towns, farmland, maritime villages, and older industrial zones. The island was formed by glaciers that pushed and dropped rock and sand as they retreated, leaving behind rolling hills in the north and flat, sandy plains in the south. Early settlements relied on fishing and farming, later shifting to whaling in the 18th and 19th centuries. Sag Harbor Cove, once a bustling whaling port, hosted ships that hunted sperm whales for oil. The cove itself connects to bays and sounds, allowing boats to travel inland from the Atlantic. It has seen shipwrecks, storms, and changing shorelines due to erosion and rising tides. Wharves have been rebuilt multiple times, and some underwater debris still remains from older docks and piers. Additionally, at different points in time, it attracted playwrights, poets and painters who wanted quiet and isolation, but stayed close to shipping lanes and city access. Buffalo is known for its industrial past, architectural landmarks, and its position near the eastern edge of Lake Erie. Its position at the terminus of a major canal system fueled grain mills and steel production. Buffalo was once a centre for grain storage and steel production, with some rain elevators lining the waterfront and others remaining as empty concrete shells. It is also known for the invention of the chicken wing, which was first served at the Anchor Bar. The original idea was to use leftover parts of the chicken in a new way. The city is also known as Nickel City, a reference to the American bison on the back of the Indian head nickel. City Hall, an Art Deco tower, once ranked among the tallest municipal buildings. The exterior includes carved details representing industry, labour, and communication. Inside, murals show scenes from regional history. St. Stanislaus, Bishop, and Martyr Church is another landmark, founded by Polish immigrants, and became a central point for the local Polish community. The twin spires are visible from many parts of the city. The church was built to reflect traditional European styles, with stained glass windows, detailed interior altars, and hand-painted ceilings. Over the years, it faced decline as the neighbourhood changed, but restoration efforts have kept it active. Nearby is Corpus Christi Church, also tied to the Polish community, once one of the largest churches in the area. The building includes a grand dome and long nave, designed to hold thousands, as it is able to host processions, festivals, and community events for generations. Ithaca Falls, a steep cascade on a creek that shares the city's name, lies within a gorge carved by glacial meltwater. Unlike many large waterfalls that require a hike or drive into remote areas, Ithaca Falls sits at the end of a short path near downtown and is fed by Fall Creek. The city of Ithaca takes its name from the Greek island, chosen by early settlers for its classical aspirations. Zaw Valley is known for its deep gorge, old-growth forests, and high cliffs cut by the Cattaraugus Creek. Famous for its natural landmarks, the valley's geology reveals Devonian-era shale and sandstone, eroded into jagged formations. Lake George, originally called Andia Ta Rock T by the Mohawk, was later renamed to honour a European monarch. Known as the Queen of American Lakes, Its clear waters and elongated shape have drawn visitors for centuries. The lake became a strategic site during the French and Indian War, with battles fought along its shores. Today, hotels and camps are built along the shore, many of them reached by train and steamer. Families returned year after year, building private cottages and launching small businesses. The city of Rochester is known for its industrial history, ties to photography and optics, and its role in social reform movements. It sits along the Genesee River, which cuts through the centre of the city and has once powered mills and factories. The city grew quickly around these water-powered industries, becoming a major producer of flour in its early years. Its name comes from one of its early founders, Colonel Nathaniel Rochester, who purchased land in the Genesee River Valley and began laying out streets and selling lots. The area's access to river traffic, canals and later railroads made it a strong location for manufacturing and shipping. High Falls, a dramatic urban waterfall, had once fueled mills and a now abandoned underground raceway system. Workers secretly constructed these tunnels to redirect water, remnants of which still snake beneath streets. In the past, the falls have frozen during extreme winters, forming solid sheets of ice, yet there are still records of people crossing the river on foot when it froze completely. In the 1800s, there were incidents of people going over the falls, both accidentally and on purpose. Over time, railways and roads were built around the gorge, changing how people moved through the city, but keeping the falls visible and accessible. Today, old industrial buildings surround the area, some of them converted into offices or apartments. The Cloisters Museum is dedicated to medieval European art and architecture, housed in a structure built from disassembled monasteries and abbeys imported from Europe. The museum was funded by a philanthropist in the early 20th century to display his collection of medieval artefacts. Its name comes from the cloisters that cover its walkways, which are covered passages that surround a courtyard and were used by monks for study, reflection, or movement between rooms. The museum includes several of these spaces, built using stones and columns brought over from European sites. The building is not a replica of a single place, but a construction made by combining parts from several different monastic buildings. Pieces were taken from French and Spanish sites, including doorways, arches and windows. The famous New York City is known for its scale, its pace, and its influence in almost every major industry, from finance and media to art, politics, and science. It's made up of 5 boroughs, each with its own character, history, and landmarks. Originally named New Amsterdam by Dutch colonists, the city's location at the mouth of a major river made it a powerful trading post early on, and its harbour remained central to its economy for centuries. Its grid system, implemented in the 19th century, standardised urban expansion. Throughout its history, New York has faced fires, disease outbreaks, economic collapse, and terrorism. It's also been the launching point for protests, social progress, and artistic revolutions. The Empire State Building once held the title of the tallest building in the world. Completed in just over a year during the Great Depression, workers constructed it at a speedy pace using steel frameworks and minimal safety gear. The building has survived plane crashes, lightning strikes, and multiple waves of renovation. Its top floors offer views in all directions, and the antenna is used for broadcasting. Additionally, it has become an Art Deco icon, as its spire was initially designed as a mooring mast for airships, but this concept was abandoned after a dirigible mishap. Lightning strikes its antenna roughly 25 times yearly. The Statue of Liberty stands on an island in the harbour, a gift from France meant to symbolise freedom and progress. The name Statue of Liberty is short for its full title, Liberty, Enlightening the World. The figure holds a torch in one hand and a tablet in the other, inscribed with the date of a declaration. A broken chain lies at her feet, symbolising the end of oppression. It was designed by sculptor Frédéric Auguste Bartholdi, with engineering by Gustave Eiffel. Although it was nearly scrapped due to funding shortages, its pedestal's construction was saved by a newspaper crowdfunding campaign. Just a short ferry ride away from the Statue of Liberty, Ellis Island stands as a gateway to the past, where millions of immigrants took their first steps toward the American dream. It processed over 12 million immigrants. Today, its registry room displays luggage, diaries, and medical inspection records. Today, it stands as a powerful tribute to the immigrants, with the existence of the Ellis Island National Museum of Immigration. The Brooklyn Bridge was one of the first steel wire suspension bridges, completed in 1883. However, it relied on caissons, which were watertight chambers that caused workers to develop caisson disease, a type of decompression sickness. Built under these extreme conditions, it cost many lives, including its original designer. His son took over, working from his hospital bed while his wife carried plans and instructions to the construction site. The bridge now carries cars, bikes and pedestrians between Brooklyn and Manhattan. Another well-known bridge is the Manhattan Bridge, carrying both vehicles and subway trains. Its steel towers and suspension cables support a heavy daily load. It is often less crowded with pedestrians, but plays just as vital a role in connecting boroughs. Roosevelt Island lies in the East River between Manhattan and Queens. Accessible by tram, subway and bridge, it was once home to hospitals and asylums. Remnants of those structures still exist, including the ruins of the smallpox hospital. Today, the island includes housing, parks, and a technology-focused campus. The vessel is a modern structure made of staircases, platforms, and reflective surfaces. It was designed as a climbable sculpture, though safety concerns have changed how it is used. This was mainly due to a dark period when many suicides were committed at the structure, prompting it to close for a duration of time. It finally reopened a year after, in 2021, with all visitors being required to be accompanied by at least one other person. The building stands as a new type of landmark, more architectural experiment due to its honeycomb-like design than a functional building. Times Square is known for its lights, billboards and crowds. In fact, its first electrified ad appeared in 1904. Today, its billboards consume enough energy to power 1,000 homes. Named after the New York Times, which once had its headquarters here, the square has been the site of parades, protests, and the city's annual New Year's Eve ball drop. The Edge is a sky deck that suspends visitors over a glass floor 100 stories high. Located in Hudson Yards, it juts out from the side of a skyscraper with glass floors and walls. Visitors can see the river, bridges and buildings from hundreds of feet in the air. Only reachable by ferry, Governor's Island was once a military base. Forts and barracks remain from that time, with secret Cold War bunkers being significantly unearthed in 2021. The island is now open to the public and features bike paths, art installations, and seasonal events. The Queensboro Bridge connects Manhattan and Queens, stretching over Roosevelt Island. Also called the 59th Street Bridge, it is defined by its cantilever design, which was considered ugly until preservationists defended it. It carries multiple lanes of traffic and runs directly above the Roosevelt Island tram line. Interestingly, it even inspired a Simon and Garfunkel song, which they named the 59th Street Bridge song, Feeling Groovy. Central Park runs through the centre of Manhattan and was designed as a public green space with winding paths, lakes and open fields. It was built by moving massive amounts of soil and rock, even including a wooded area designed to feel wild. The layout was planned to appear natural, even though every element was constructed. The park includes theatres, a zoo, playgrounds and quiet spots far from the streets. A temporary art installation once drew millions to a mirrored gateway near its pathways. This is New York State, a land of hidden wonders and remarkable architectural marvels. Now, if you don't want to miss the most unreal wonders of Florida, check out this video.